And welcome back. The Kaplan Educational Foundation eliminates barriers to post-secondary education for historically underrepresented low-income Black and Latinx students of exceptional academic merit attending community colleges. Now, here now to share more, we are pleased to be joined by the Executive Director of the Kaplan Education Foundation, Nolvia Delgado. And Nolvia, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
You know, when we talk about going to college, it sometimes can be such a tremendous journey for anybody to really take that step. But then when we talk about people in Black and brown communities, there is this disparity. There's a lot of challenges, but I know the Kaplan is doing a great job in terms of helping people to really get there and not just get there, but really succeed.
I think you make an excellent point. What we do is that we help high achieving community college students not only transfer to selective 4 year institutions, but also graduate. I think sometimes people forget that once you're there, you still need to graduate. So we help students with the entire transfer application process by providing leadership development, financial assistance, and then we help them after they graduate as well launch their careers.
And there are a tremendous amount of resources that you actually provide through your organization. But walk us through a little bit about the resources that are available for your prospective students.
Yeah, so I think the best way to break down the resources that we offer is in four parts. One is helping students with the pre-transfer journey. So that's helping them apply to schools, helping them with their financial aid applications, and supporting them with graduating from their community colleges. And then the next 2 years are spent focused helping the students once they get to their 4 year schools, making sure that they are exposed to things like study abroad opportunities and that they are successful at their 4 year schools and that they graduate. And then the fourth year is after students graduate, we work with them if they need professional development, if they need help with graduate exams and things like that.
So we talked a little bit in part, but for somebody that doesn't know about the leadership program, uh, give us some details as to how the leadership program works. And we've also got some good success stories too. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, so the way that the leadership program works is that we want our students to be leaders in their communities, on their campuses, and we equip them with the tools. We spend a lot of time doing professional development, mentorship, and exposing them to leaders across different fields, especially leaders in their chosen fields. And as Black and Brown people, we're not often exposed to cultural capital. So we talk a lot about the importance of having that type of capital that you need in order to advance academically and advance your careers.
And Novia, I know that you have two great success stories that have come out recently that I know that you got many, but I know that you got two in particular right here out of the borough of the Bronx.
Yeah, so right now we have one of our students, Obed, who's graduating from Yale University, and he has a full-time job offer with Morgan Stanley. So he's ready to go. He's graduating in a few weeks now. And then we also have another student who is currently at Smith College, and she is at her first year at Smith College after attending community college in the Bronx.
And what is that like for you to actually see an opportunity to take students to another level? Because for some of them, they wouldn't have this opportunity. And to see them not just take the opportunity, but to actually be able to excel and blossom. You know, Morgan Stanley, you're talking about Yale, you're talking about, this is Ivy League, this is what some people consider the creme de la creme.
Yeah, I think it's so empowering to see not only the impact that our program has on the lives of the students, but the way that they're able to impact those around them, share information, and the way it changes the trajectory, not only for them, but also for entire families. You know, we had a scholar who once said that because he had KEF in his life, now his kids won't need KEF. And now he's a father of two kids, and that's exactly what's happening, right? His kids won't need a program like ours because he had us in his corner to support him and open doors for him.
You know, when we look at what's going on right now with the admissions process and we see across the United States, you know, changes with admissions policies, we know legislation has been drafted to really help to assist in this process. Give us where you feel your organization is really landing amidst all this going on.
That's a great question. And, I think full transparency, the post affirmative action world will be very challenging for selective institutions. But I like to view things with a glass half full approach. And I think that this will present an opportunity for the higher education sector to invest in community colleges and for community colleges to become a viable pipeline for selective institutions in order for them to continue offering admissions to diverse students, both economically and racially diverse students.
One of the things I think that we're really speaking about is the opportunity for kids to have exposure. And
Yes.
exposure is so critical to a person, particularly at that collegiate level. Your thoughts on just, Kaplan and the opportunity to provide exposure and what that does in the trajectory of a life of a student.
I think exposure goes beyond their life as students, and it goes beyond that and also impacts their professional life and the choices that they make. I think once you expose students to different opportunities, and you equip them with the tools that they need, that will translate into the professional world as well. And it's so important, just by exposing a student to the importance of something like as simple as a thank you note after you meet with someone, how far something like that can go.
And so, for people who need more information in terms of the leadership program and things of that nature, what is the criteria for a student to be able to enter into that program?
That's a great question. Our applications are currently open. So we're recruiting students from community colleges in the five boroughs, New Jersey, and Westchester. And the criteria students have to identify as Black, Latinx, or Native American. They need to have a 3.5 GPA, and they need to show leadership potential either in their community, their personal lives, on campus, and they also need to graduate either December 2023 or May 2024.
Ah, pretty interesting and a pretty exciting time. And for yourself, I know the application process is about to begin, but talk to us about the amount of applications you received.
So we receive a lot of applications across the boroughs. But what I would like to say, I would like to stress the importance of people applying. We take the time to review each application individually. We look at the student holistically. You don't have to have it all figured out. I was a student who didn't think this program was for me when I applied over 14 years ago, and here I am today. So what I would say is, if you think that you want to transfer, if you are interested in having people coach you and support you and push you to the finish line, just give yourself the chance, apply, and don't close the door on yourself.
Yeah, it's amazing what the opportunities can be with one opportunity, one door that just opens to be able to take a program like yourself and be a part of it can just change the trajectory of somebody's life. I talked about that earlier, but it's so true. And so, for final tips for people who are out there right now, what do you want them to know?
I just want them to show up. Show up. If there's an opportunity at your school, if there's an opportunity in your community, this opportunity, you might think it's a good fit for you, just show up and go for it and put your best foot forward. There's a lot of people that are rooting for us, and we just need to show up.
Right. Novia, we're going to leave it there, but thank you so much for being with us. And she is the executive director of the Kaplan Educational Foundation. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All righty. Well, if you do want more information about the program as we spoke about, you can visit the website at kaplanedfoundation.org and then follow them on Instagram and Twitter at KaplanEdFDN. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open right after this.